directo para todo el mundo, para Latinoamérica y para la concha de la luna. Estamos esperando acá en vivo a ver lo que va a decir la Jacinda. Porque la Jacinda, ¿viste? ¿Para qué? Yo estoy en vivo, pero no preparé nada porque esto... Y es para decirnos Jacinda y él. Me dejó con luz ahora, todo. Seguro no me vine porque están todos durmiendo. Pero ¿dónde está Jacinda? Jacinda, queremos saber qué estás diciendo. Se viene hoy, es un día clave. Todo el mundo está esperando esto. A ver qué dice la Jacinda. Dice que va a hablar ahora a las 4 de la tarde, pero todavía no la encuentro, no encuentro. ¿De dónde? Where's Jacinda Artin? Jacinda. ¿Dónde estás? Acá está. A ver qué dice,
I want to
escuchemos.
start today by acknowledging the sacrifices New Zealanders have made over the 6.5 weeks we have been in alert levels 4 and 3 in order to beat COVID-19. Be it those who lost loved ones and were unable to say goodbye and mourn properly. Be it the children who wrote to me about missing birthdays, and there were many of them. Or the many who cancelled weddings or didn't mark anniversaries. Be it the jobs that have been lost and the businesses that owners spent years building up only to watch it and their workforce suffer terribly. But for all of that, Kiwis from all walks of life were resolute and determined. Determined that this was a war that we could eventually win, but only if we acted together. So we formed a team, and as a team, we created a wall of protection for one another. Over the weekend, I read a letter from a mother who spoke about what that team effort has meant to her. Her young son has compromised immunity, and as a result is on constant medication. When COVID arrived in the form of a global pandemic, she was terrified. But she was writing to me out of sheer relief. There may be no cure, no vaccine for COVID yet, but there was each and every one of you, every single Kiwi who made the decision to stay home, to make sacrifices, and you did that for her boy. You did something for someone's mother, for someone's father, someone's child. You created a wall that meant the virus couldn't reach those that it could easily take. And for that, there are many people who are grateful to you, their team of 5 million. Case numbers remain low. And in the last week, we have had 2 days in a row of no cases. By the end of level 4, our R value, the number of people each case goes on to infect, was 0.4. Under level 3, it has remained low. Experts tell us that if the R value stays below 1, we will eventually achieve our goal of elimination. As of today, we have only 90 New Zealanders recorded as having the virus, of whom only 2 are in hospital. None of that has been through luck, but rather through hard work. While we've been battling this virus, we've also built up our health system to specifically act as a defence. We can now undertake up to 12,000 tests a day. 3.5% of the entire population has been tested, and our testing rates are amongst the highest in the world per capita, ahead of countries like Australia, the UK, Germany, Singapore, and South Korea. A lot of work has gone into building up our contact tracing capability. Dr. Aisha Verrill's report has been instrumental in this regard, and the majority of the recommendations have been implemented. We can now contact trace 185 cases a day and have capacity to contact 10,000 people a day through a new national call centre established since the beginning of the outbreak. Identifying new cases of the virus quickly through testing and rapid contact tracing can be 90% as effective as a vaccine in stopping the spread of the virus. But I cannot emphasise enough that speed is of the essence. The clock starts as soon as someone feels sick. If you have COVID, we need every minute to find the people you have been in contact with and isolate them before they are in contact with someone else. In short, if you get a sniffle or a sore throat or a cough, get advice and get a test quickly. Please don't be a stoic Kiwi. If you do your bit, we all must keep doing ours. That means continuing our strong border controls, hand hygiene and physical distancing, which have and will continue to be our primary wall of defence against COVID. They're tools that have worked. But we all know there is more to do. We may have won a few battles, but we have not won the war. We are still recording cases most days. New information about the virus indicates it could be spread prior to a person becoming symptomatic, meaning it can be passed on by seemingly healthy people. And the scientists who have advised us so well to date say there is still a chance of silent spread in the future, and therefore cases taking off again. So, today, I am announcing that Cabinet agrees we are ready to move into level 2, to open up the economy, but to do it as safely as possible. So let me set out how we will do that. On Thursday this week, retail, malls, cafes, restaurants, cinemas, and other public spaces, including playgrounds and gyms, can reopen. All will be required to have physical distancing and strict hygiene measures in place. You can begin to move around New Zealand, but space yourself out, especially if you're using public transport. And of course, health services will restart. On Monday, 18 May, all children and young people will be able to return to school and early learning. This staging is to give parents, teachers, and education facilities time to plan. And finally, on Thursday, 21 May, bars will be able to open with all the requirements set out last week, including that seating must be provided, there must be space between tables, and there mustn't be multiple waiters and waitresses serving a single table. We have left bars till last because they do pose the most risk. As we can see from South Korea that recently opened up their bars only to close them again after one person created an outbreak of 40 people and caused 1,500 tests. While we have put in place measures and expectations to make all hospitality as safe as possible, these few extra days really do give us a chance to lock in the data from level 3 and feel more secure that we're ready for this move. Overall though, the upshot is that in 10 days' time, we will have reopened most businesses in New Zealand, and sooner than many other countries around the world. But that fits with our plan, and our plan was go hard, go early, so we can get our economy moving again sooner, and so we can get the economic benefit of getting our health response right. And so far, we have. But there does have to be a new normal. And that normal means that we will be breaking out of our bubbles. We will be around more people. But we can do that and get more activity going if we balance that with keeping our distance and keeping our social gatherings small for now. Our strength so far has been our willingness to learn about this virus and change the way that we behave to beat it. And we've learnt a lot, especially from our clusters. If you've followed their origin, you'll know that they're a slice of Kiwi life. They have started at wedding receptions, stag do's, a conference in Queenstown that included drinks and socialising, a bar in Matamata. There is a theme. When we come together to socialise in large numbers with one another, there is risk. The best insurance policy we have for that risk is to reduce the size of our socialising for now. And that is what the Director General of Health has recommended that we do for now. Parties, big social events, or anything designed to be for mixing and mingling won't be allowed to happen for groups that are larger than 10. Gatherings at home need to be kept at 10. Church and religious events, weddings, funerals, stag do's, all limited to 10 for now. And if you're wanting to head to a restaurant or a bar, they won't be able to take group bookings for larger than 10. This, alongside social distancing, is our insurance policy. Why 10? Simple. If something goes wrong with a group of 10, that is much easier to contain, much easier to contact trace, much less likely that if something goes wrong, the whole country will have to experience more restrictions. That doesn't mean that you won't see larger gatherings of people around you. people, for instance, will be at the movies, but they'll all be spaced out. They'll be watching sports, but they will be spaced out. People might go to a show, but they will be spaced out. You'll see bars and restaurants open, but they again will be required to have people seated and spaced out. We have done what we can to prioritise opening up businesses, but just alter the way that we work within them for the next wee while. This strikes a balance between getting the economy moving, but also making sure we have got...
Bueno, voy a traducir más o menos todo lo que está pasando en este nivel. Me fui de ahí, así siguen escuchando, pero ya está. A partir de este jueves estamos oficialmente en nivel 2. ¡Woohoo! ¿Qué significa esto? Que a partir del lunes, creo que dijo el lunes, Monday 18, she say for school. El lunes 18 ya pueden volver a la escuela la gente, así que fenomenal con eso. Tema restaurante, vamos a poder abrir el restaurante, pero hay un par de restricciones que dijo. Que dijo a lo último, que fue lo que mejor escuché y lo que necesito, porque yo trabajo en un restaurante. ¿Qué era? No puede haber grupo de más de 10 personas, porque con 10 personas justo para hacer el tracking si pasa algo, un caos, algo, 10 personas está bien. No puede haber cumpleaños, fiestas, funerales o lo que sea con más de 10 personas por el momento. Así que eso, bien y mal, pero bueno. Así que el restaurante igual tiene que tener metros a la gente, 2 metros de diferencia por cada mesa, lo mismo que cines, shows, eventos deportivos, tienen que spread out, significa expandirse, alejarse. Así que bueno, vamos a ver qué pasa. De a poquito, dijo, a partir de este jueves, después, este jueves, ¿para qué hoy es que estamos? Hoy es 11, o sea, el lunes que viene, ya puedo mandar a la nena al colegio, pongo así porque quiero ver la hora, el día, 11 de mayo, sí, el lunes que viene. Así que, buenísimo, ya va a volver a la normalidad todo, más o menos seguimos en el 2, pero con cautela. Por eso está haciendo esto de los grupos y todo. No dijo todavía, porque me fui, cuándo va a volver o a ser normal todo. You know, she said something about sports. I just left. ¿Qué pasa con los deportes? Estoy preguntando qué pasa con los deportes porque no puedo escuchar. ¿Qué? I say, what happened with sports? Ah, you don't listen.
No, because I could hear you talking. I would set it off because I couldn't hear.
Ah, sí, me manda la excusa a mí que no escuchó porque estoy yo hablando. Pero no importa, bueno, vamos a ver qué dicen las noticias, pero hasta ahora estamos nivel 2. ¡Jujú! Vuelve a la escuela. ¡Jujú! No más rompe pelota. ¡Jujú! Así que bueno, vamos a ver qué pasa. Pero todavía no abren las fronteras, así que mamá, todavía estás quedada acá.
No dijo nada, los aviones.
Que se metan en el orto los aviones. Y pasa arriba. Y acá está Riby Boy. Hola. ¿Le querés decir algo a la gente que te está mirando?
Hola.
Hola. ¿No, Riby? Hola. Hola, Riby. ¿No? ¿No? Ay. No, ¿qué pasó? ¿Qué pasó? ¿Estos colores juntos no? ¡Ey! Mamá, ¿algo para decir?
No sé, acá estamos en la dulce espera.
Así que bueno, Alberto, aprende un poquito cómo se maneja un país, cómo nos restringió a todos para que no salgamos y mirá cómo ahora podemos salir y hacer las cosas bien y seguimos haciendo bien las cosas. Aprende un poquito, Alberto, aprende. Dejá de mirar a Suiza y mirar a Nueva Zelanda un poquito, Alberto. Bueno, esto fue todo el video de hoy. Espero que te haya gustado. Tengo un pijama. Tengo pijama. Porque está lloviendo afuera, entonces no se seca la ropa. Pero venimos acá. Tenemos el fueguito. Ay, qué lindo el fueguito. Así que nos vemos en el próximo video. Rapa, que channel thing. Espero que hayas entendido lo que dijo la Jacinda. Y fue un buen entrenamiento para ustedes. Para que aprendan un poco de inglés. Inglés kiwi. Esto es lo que se van a enfrentar. A esto se van a enfrentar, a este idioma, a este acento se van a enfrentar, porque ustedes pueden hablar inglés, pero ¿pueden entender? lo pueden entender. Bueno, a ver qué me están diciendo por acá. Voy a mandar saludos a todos. Ya traduje. Vamos, Plenty Bay, un genio la ministra, sí. ¿En qué estado? Saludos desde Perú. Vamos, Perú, River. Vamos, chao, chao. Ah, correr que tengo Instagram, subiste en Instagram, subiste al canal y nos vemos.